Hi, this is Amanda again, and I'm also, just like the last video, I'm going to give a little bit of context of what this is about. So if you're joining in for the first time, you won't feel like you're walking in on a private moment and then feel uncomfortable, because there are no private moments here. It's kind of the point. This was something I challenged myself to do, probably 25 days ago. So it's 100 videos in 100 days. And the reason I committed to this challenge was I wanted a creative outlet, a way to express myself, but I also was tired of hiding my gifts from people because my life didn't look a certain way. And so what this is about is creating freedom for myself through being authentic, through being vulnerable, and I'm showing up brave as well. I think a little bit of grit works with this. I wanted people to know that even if life doesn't look perfect or feel perfect, or you don't feel perfect, it doesn't mean it isn't valuable. It doesn't mean that your gift shouldn't be shared. Those gifts are inherently yours, and they're there 24/7, no matter how much laundry there is, how dirty your car is, if you have a job or not. You have gifts inside of you that are always there available. So that's what this is about. And it's also about, what is the cost of waiting to live that life? Because you really could lose everything that your heart really wants to express. You may exist, but you'll be surviving. Living from a conscious, authentic place, like what these videos demo, it's the epitome of the roller coaster. It feels scary to get on there, even if you like them. Your stomach's going to drop, or there might be something unexpected. But when you get off, it's like, wow, what a ride! And the whole time, you're present to it. You're in the moment of it. No one climbs a rope ladder halfway and hangs and looks over and goes, "This is so fun. I'm so glad I'm doing this. I really just feel fully self-expressed, and I'm having a phenomenal time." Like, that's not a thing, but that's how we live. We're just enough up on there that everyone can see us. We're trying really hard, and we're just miserable. And you can't even leave the rope. So, roller coaster, at least you can go to the next one. So, that's what this is. So, I'll be quiet in a minute just to kind of get centered from where I want to talk, because I always want to talk from my heart and not let the mind run the show here. And I have no idea what's coming to the table, because I don't filter things. There's no do-overs here. There's no editing. There's no, what you see is what you get. So, there might be swear words, there might be crying, I don't know. It's the roller coaster. And so you're invited to participate. And sometimes, why it's a good thing to participate in something like this is because we don't always know how to be vulnerable. And so sometimes it's just nice to watch what that even would look like, or be authentic. We know it when we see it and we want it, but to be able to pop in every day and see someone do it over and over and over to where it becomes a practice, I think it's beneficial for everyone. It is for me, and from what I gather, it is for you. So I'm gonna grab a drink of water and then we'll start. I don't know why I do the water off screen. It probably sounds gross, and it'll probably not look great either way. Oh. I just really never know what the topic will be. And I know there's usually multiple topics, which is super fun when you go to title it at the end on YouTube. You're like, yes, no, random jarble. Does anyone type that in and look for it? Because I will be number one. So what's showing up right now is just a conversation about... So I actually looked up the word vulnerable the other day. And authentic. And authentic meant genuine, like the original piece. It could be authenticated. It wasn't a fake. So it's something that was real. So, I mean, I kind of think that means just telling the truth, being who you are in the moment, nothing fake, that kind of thing. Guess what surprised me about being vulnerable was that it sounds terrible. Can be damaged, can be attacked, can be destroyed. It is basically all these defects that it could be blown apart or picked apart, or I was like, what am I doing? Because to me, vulnerability always looks like courage. So it was kind of a confusing thing, because when we see someone vulnerable, it's that feeling of like, oh, I want to be there. I want to be able to do that. What I think it means, at least for me, it means I can put myself out there authentically, regardless of what people think about me. And I know some people, all the memes and things, like, I don't give two fucks. Don't give a fuck. Here's the great thing about not giving a fuck. I do not believe any of you. Because it is hardwired, like breathing. That's what your mind wants, is acceptance. It's built for it. It terrorizes you if you think it's not going to get it. That's why our purpose and our callings and stuff feel scary, is strictly because if I go out on this thing that feels totally genuine to me and it makes no sense to anyone else, then will I still be accepted? Will they still love me? And it rules your whole life. So people are like, well, I've got thick skin. I've learned not to care anymore. Maybe in one area, but give me 5 seconds and I'll give you 10 that'll make you throw up. I mean, it's just, we gotta learn to operate through it and heal up things, but it's always gonna be something that's there to a certain degree. You know, it just is. I can't imagine it's not. It's that little kid you got to pull on target. They're screaming. It's like, well, sometimes they're just screaming because whatever. So I was thinking about, sharing the videos and stuff and what will people think. And this is that fly. It's like me and Walter White and the fly. That's how it's been the last 2 days. So sorry. I'll get them later. So when I was talking about sharing and how awkward it could be, or it's hard to explain these videos, and then what will people think if I'm sharing something vulnerable or authentic, even though that's what I want in my life. And so just here's a few things that are coming up about it. One, it really does show the insanity of our mind, because if I post something or even say something in public or whatever, it doesn't matter, to my own kids, and I'm nervous to do it, and my mind is like, don't say that. You're going to stand out, or people are going to make fun of you, or they're going to argue with you. It's unnecessary. You're putting yourself at risk. So then I do it anyway, okay? And then let's say someone makes a negative comment, or someone throws in that was dumb, or doesn't matter, just some kind of negative comment or an eye roll or whatever. The mind that told you not to do it because that was going to happen, so it's picking on you, right? Because it's trying to protect you. What happens when that person does that? Why, those mother bleep, right? They're suddenly on your side, and then they're tearing that person apart. Then they're even building you up higher. Then you don't even need it, but it's now like, who are they? Oh, I hate them anyway. Delete them, block them, total losers. I don't even know why you put up with them. They're so stupid. They don't get it. They don't get it. You were brave to do that. I'm proud of you. You should have done it. I mean, I did warn you, but now that you did it, I'm here. I'm going to take them out. So it creates war. It's a war in you, or it's a war against them. So it's very tricky to listen to the mind when it comes to worrying about what other people think, because it'll switch on you. And it'll either create a war against you or help you create a war against them. But it never offers you peace. So you can't, when you do something fully, it's got to come from a centered place, because this is the backseat driver that's going to tell you you're going the wrong way, or you're going too slow, or you're going too fast. It's constant war. So if you want to share something, it's irrelevant what it is, go down deep, melt down there, and feel what that would be like for you to express yourself authentically. What would that provide you, regardless of what anybody says? And does your gut tell you you'll be okay? No matter what your mind tells you or the person? Because like I said, if you don't share it, your mind's also going to go, you're such a weenie. You're so weak. That could have helped someone. Maybe that would have just brightened someone's day, but no. I mean, you will never win. You'll never win. So maybe thank it for its opinion, and then sink down here and take a look. Would it be okay? Will you be okay? Yeah. That will always be the answer. If you're trying to do it as a passive-aggressive, snarky thing, you go down there, your gut's going to go, you know better. Don't do that to yourself. Be kind to yourself and not do that. It's not about other people. It's always about you. Don't do that. The other thing I was thinking is that we worry about what other people think about us, and they have no clue who we are. I don't care if you live with them 24 hours a day your whole life. They don't know who you are. They may know things about you. They may have insights. They may be able to guess really well. But from what I know, like when I've lived with people this last few years, people I thought I knew, that I thought I'd live with them, just have a ball and it was just going to be amazing. No. I didn't know them at all. I was like, what is this side? What's happening? Twilight Zone. People, I was like, okay, I'll stay there. But and I'm like, I love them. Where have they been all my life? I've known them for 15 years, but I didn't know that. So, and even then, I mean, I tell my kids, I'm like, if I really tell you everything about myself, if I really told you everything that goes in my head, you would run screaming. So no one can ever know all of that about you, and you can never know that about anyone else. So for us to have opinions about other people is actually ridiculous. Even our opinions about ourselves are ridiculous because it's coming from your backseat driver, because your soul just loves you. And somehow we listen to the backseat driver. And would you ever really listen to a backseat driver? No. You wouldn't even invite them on the next trip. Like, they were a pain in the ass. And we got lost because of them, and we got in a wreck. Because I was too busy screaming at them, and I bumped into a car. That's how it goes. The other thing I was thinking is that people can have a snapshot of you, right? And then they build this world in their head. And that world gets built from their past, either from meeting you, from one interaction, several interactions, whatever, but it still processes through their filter about you. So recently, my mom sent me a text, and she asked me, even though she was pretty sure it wasn't true, if my siblings and I had all been high at my cousin's wedding 20 years ago. I had no idea what she was talking about. And she said, well, my brother said he came into your hotel room, never happened, and that he swore that he could smell pot in the room, that you were all glossy-eyed, and that you were all high at the wedding. I didn't even know what to say. I just was, for 20 years, he just pictured us as these kids that pretended to be one way, but were really another way. And I just said, Mom, what are you? She goes, no, I'm not saying I think it's true. I said, well, I was nursing Tanner at the time. We were all hardcore Mormon. The thought of drugs was scarier than probably the drug itself. We wouldn't even know where to get it. I mean, and we were all really just kind of teenagers at the time. And I said, and your your brother wouldn't come near us. We don't even talk to him. So it was just funny, but he was just, I mean, he was adamant, and he begged her to ask us. And my cousin was sitting there, and he just fell off the bed laughing. He said, on my life, those kids didn't do that. They were more afraid of their dad than any drug that ever existed. That's just as absurd. So I just thought it was really interesting that he had this thing about us for 20 years, that we presented ourselves as these goody-goodies and whatever, but really. So that was his filter for us forever. So no matter what I post or what I talk to him about, he's hearing, you're a bullshitter because I know what I know about you. So I guess it's best to just do what my gut tells me to, right? And then, like, for a quick flash of people see you, I was at the airport last year. I had a big Taylor Swift sweatshirt on, jeans, hair and ponytail. I probably looked like this. And the guy at the checkout asked me, where I was going. And I told him, he said, what are you going up for fun? I said, actually, my friend's got a business, and there's some accounts and things that need help. And he can't seem to figure it out, so I'm going up to help him figure that out. I'm kind of those people that come in and help fix things. What he heard was, I'm a Ray Donovan. If you don't know what Ray Donovan is, it's on Showtime, and he is a Hollywood fixer. So if a celebrity screws up and he's got to go remove a body, or he's got to take someone out, or he's got to plant something here or there, or beat someone up, or make someone disappear, that's the guy. So suddenly, that's the filter I'm seen in, and I'm looking how I look. And I was in a hurry. I was even kind of tired, and I went, something like that. I mean, I'd seen a season of it, but I was just like, where is this coming from? Then he says, all right. He yells to the crew and tells them to come over and introduce themselves to me. They line up, and he says, this is someone you need to know. She's a Ray Donovan. What did I do? Well, I shook all their hands, of course. Because I'm not going to change the filter. It's happening. So I'm Ray Donovan's twin, and if you need anything, you know who to call. Yeah, and then they asked me my name or something, and at that point I'm playing along. I can't give that out. It's a contact only. You have to know someone. They're like, oh yeah. I'm like, so that's why I'm actually dressed this way, because I don't look like, I'd be a Ray. He's like, oh my God, I get it. And then the next little lady comes up, she's like, I want to shake your hand too. So apparently people like people that can go take people out and don't have to play by the rules. But you know what? When you go from your gut, you don't actually have to play by the rules anymore. Meaning, public opinion starts to become irrelevant. Will it ever go away? Not entirely, unless you get a frontal lobotomy. It's always going to be there, but I don't know. Maybe that's there to assist us in some way, to make us want to reach out. As long as it's coming from a center place, If it didn't matter to me at all that people out there are having a hard time, and people know that I have a gift, well, I might get poked and prodded like, we see this thing in you. So it's all works out, right? It's all part of the full circle of things. It's balance. So you don't have to play by the rules if you come from an authentic, genuine place, because what the rules are is just an agreement between people to keep everyone feeling happy and safe. And when you stop worrying about that and listening to your gut and knowing you're going to be okay either way, it looks like you're breaking the rules. And people notice. It's exciting. It's, how are they doing that? I promise it starts to even look magic, because I've had people go, but how do you get away with that? And it's like, I'm not getting away with anything. I'm listening to my gut, and I step forward into it. And it looks like it's breaking a social rule, but because it's coming from that place, I'm really darn clear that it's going to split something open, or someone will agree to something, or something will show up. So when you listen to your gut, you get to be a rule breaker. And it starts to open up space for people to look at things differently. And like I said yesterday, isn't that what we want? We don't want the same. The same isn't working. The holding on to the rope isn't working. The roller coaster's working for some. And even the merry-go-round, at least there's movement. You don't feel stressed. There's pretty colors. There's life, you know? And the people that are around you change. So movement is good. The soul is fluid. This is awful. And guess what? A lot of people do that. They drop. And dropping is illness and depression and suicide. And I'm committed to talking about a world where people can be who they are freely and then playing. Because, yeah, you don't have to go have a great living and do all these things to have peace. You could sit at home all day and have peace. If you can work through your thoughts and feel your feelings, absolutely. And I do that as a practice. But I also want to play, because playing's fun. So I want the combo. I will take one large combo to go. So think about where you feel stopped when your mind starts going, but they're going to say, well, remember, yeah, well, this is going to say something else later. So feel down here what you want to do for you. It's your right. It's your life. Love you enough to give it to you, because no one else can do it. And they wouldn't even know what to give you if they could, because only your soul knows the entirety. So listen to it. You get to be a rule breaker.